How you doing, guys? Welcome back to the Liquidstate. For the next bartender profile, we'll be interviewing Barney. As many of you may know, he was the World Class winner and up until recently was the head bartender at Little Black Door. So sit back, relax, we got a lot of information to get through, so hope you enjoy.
So hi, my name is Barney. I'm the former head bartender at Little Black Door in Dubai. I'm 29 and I've been working in this industry for the past 12 years. The way I started off in the industry was actually pretty sudden. I moved from my city to study in a different city, and as I was in university, obviously I needed the money. So one of my cousins was working in a very famous club, and that was the first place where I actually got introduced to the world of cocktails. One night the staff was short, their barback got sick, so he gave me a call and he told me that he needs my help, and basically I said yes. I went and I helped him, and I got straight away. I actually fell in love with what I saw that night, and I said, I love the energy, I love the creativity, I love talking to people, I love the music, and I think this was the perfect environment for myself. And one day I had a very inspiring workshop with a personality which is huge in Romanian bartending and within the industry. This gentleman's name is Marius Gogoașa. After the workshop, I was thinking to myself, I just stood in one place for 4 hours listening to a person talking about drinks, the craft of bartending and mixing drinks and hospitality. And I didn't even blink. So I decided one day, I bought a ticket one way to London, and I left. I left looking for a better chance and for the possibility to learn, to develop. My London journey was actually pretty interesting. I moved to London without having a job, actually. I had only the place where to stay, and it actually took me almost 2 months to get a full-time job in a Lancaster Gate hotel, Royal Lancaster. In the hotel, we weren't even involved in creating drinks or serving proper cocktails. It was much more like draft beers, long drinks. And then one day I got a call from Dubai, from my cousin Mickey, who was working in LPM. And he asked me if I'm interested. They had an empty spot. And I said, Dubai? Why not? I took an interview. For some reason I didn't get accepted. I ended up doing a trial shift in Zuma London for a position in Dubai. They accepted me, and surprisingly I got another offer on the same day from Lasser, which was a brand new restaurant opening in downtown, and it seemed a much better fit for me to start in Dubai rather than jumping into Zuma. And that's how I ended up in Lasser in Dubai, really. It was very difficult for me to adapt to life in Dubai, to be honest. With my cultural background from Romania and then moving to London, it was a massive change. The first 6 months was hell on earth for me, really. It was very difficult for me to step up. Obviously the weather, the culture, the work ethic, the long hours in pre-opening and so on. But after the 6 months of critical time passed, I felt myself really integrated in the whole community, and I saw a lot of opportunities, and I said, well, I might not stay 2 years as I first planned, I might stay a lot longer because I saw a lot of opportunity, and I made the right choice. Lasser was truly inspiring for me in many ways, because our head chef, Mr. Izuani, he's a creative genius, and his passion in culinary was really inspiring for me in the beverage side as well, because I find a true connection between culinary and bartending, craft bartending, as we do. I also had the chance to have a great bar manager in Lasser, Mr. Kyriakos, and he was truly a mentor for me. During 1 year, I could have never imagined that I can get to the level what I got to. So he literally gave me a massive push, and he helped me a lot to develop into the bartender that I am today, actually. But after 2 years of time, I felt like I got stuck, and I didn't really have a lot of creative freedom. It wasn't really a bar destination. The restaurant was really more like a foodie destination. And I felt like I wanted something. I wanted to work in a proper bar, somewhere where people come to enjoy the drink, to enjoy the hospitality, the vibe, to come to see me, to talk to us. This place was Little Black Door. It just sounded the perfect project for me, truly. And to have the opportunity to open it with two of my cousins, who are my best friends as well, it was just another extra thing, and I said straight away, yes, do it. It was really a challenge for us to open Little Black Door, which was a brand new project, a brand new name. There was no real background for it. I have to admit that we were quite scared in the beginning. We had mixed emotions, whether this is going to work or not, knowing how the Dubai market is. People were kind of skeptical a bit, and it was a challenge for us truly to see if you know, without having a big brand behind us, without having a strong concept that has already been proven, or you know, if we can do it. It was a challenge for ourselves to see if we can manage to live up to the hype and to prove people wrong, but the first place to prove us right. And you can imagine the level of satisfaction that we had after seeing the response of the industry, after getting the response of the guests. I strongly believe, after the example that we set in Dubai and the success that we had without having a strong brand or a strong hotel behind us, is the ultimate proof that it works. And I feel that this city needs a lot more original and homegrown ideas to really create its own identity, because at the moment there's only huge brands coming, not necessarily meaning that they will succeed. Because this is a different market, it's a difficult market, and you have to adapt in order to survive. The need of people of having more casual and more informal places is also growing. People are sick and tired of getting ripped off on booze and food. They just want to have a good time. They want to have quality products, get good value for their money, eat, drink, and have a good time. It's not about opulence, it's not about showing off. So I think there is a lot more space for homegrown ideas. And yes, you can succeed, for sure. It's kind of a fear factor for investors, whether they should invest or not, whether they should trust the project or not. What is the most important is to getting the opening team right, getting the right people for the right departments, and as an investor, to give them full trust, but most importantly, full control. Because if you hire those people from the best places and you pay them that amount of money, you should trust them and you should let them do their job as they know it, as they have been doing it for the years that they have experienced. This communication between ownership, investors, and the management team should be really restricted down, because what's happening now is that we see many projects enjoying success for 1-2 years, and then where a downfall comes, they try to react when it's too late, where we should be proactive and avoid those situations. They like to be conservative, first of all. Second of all, the cost of life anyway is huge in Dubai, and hence people tend to go to places where there's happy hour, where there's ladies' nights. There's nothing wrong with that, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they will have a quality beverage or whatever they offer. That just means that they're gonna have volume, not necessarily quality. So this is not improving the guest experience. The Dubai scene currently, I feel that it's in a small crisis. There's more and more places closing. There's a lot of people leaving town. So our database basically for the guests is shorter and shorter. There's too many places opening. There's too many places searching for the same segment of people. There's too many places targeting the same consumers. And the number of consumers is very limited. So it doesn't help the scene, the fact that you open 50 bars and you try to please 10,000 people. Everybody's trying to get into hospitality, not necessarily knowing what they're doing, just because they see it as the future. So I think that Dubai should look into limiting that, basically, or getting projects which have very strong foundations. a cocktail, as you mentioned, not necessarily is a luxury. No, we can create beautiful drinks which we can sell for 50, 55 dirhams, 60 dirhams, which is very affordable. And anybody should enjoy the creativity that we are offering, same as they do with food. I would really encourage the homegrown businesses and the homegrown ideas. It's time to really focus on what our guests really need and how they want to feel in our business, rather than trying to force them to take something that we want and then we have the feeling that we rip them off. I think we have to take a point where we have to be a lot more fairer to ourselves in the first place and then to our customers. Entrepreneurship should be really encouraged in this country. Obviously, opening a company in Dubai involves a lot of cost, and it's discouraging a lot of people into investing money. Because the cost of a small business, a small bar, could be the same as a big restaurant somewhere else in the world. And people are really gambling. They're taking a really big risk at this. I think that independent licensing should be adapted and should be applied quite soon in Dubai to encourage standalone places, to encourage more places, smaller places. We don't necessarily need big places, which are very difficult to fill up, rather than focusing on smaller venues and creating a really nice, really special vibe with obviously lower cost and maybe more profitable even. And it should be reviewed by the government on how they could help businesses. There should be a solution found between hotels and the entities who want to rent a certain space and want to run through their license. I really don't see the logic why you should pay a handling fee for a hotel while you're paying a huge rent to them as well to rent that space. Because as you rent a small place which is part of the hotel, the license is also part of the hotel. So these issues should be sorted out somehow in order to encourage more people to open up businesses. If you look at the fact that Dubai is quite widespread and it's a developing city, the fact that you would spread these areas where you can have licensed places for alcohol would probably be a good idea. Because at the moment, most of the places where you can find a good value for money and you have a good bar and good restaurants are mostly congested in areas like downtown and DIFC. So if you live, for example, in Skyport, or you live in Discovery Gardens and you want to have a lunch in the IFC, you have to drive all the way there. So I don't see the reason why we shouldn't have equally strong places placed closer to these areas. And you could have healthy businesses in all corners rather than have everything congested in one spot. My favorite cocktail of all time is probably the Old Fashioned, because for me simplicity is key and less is more. Moscow Mule, definitely. Don't ask me, don't. I'm actually very open to spirits. I kind of drink everything except vodka. Don't judge. Specifically, I love tequila and mezcal, and I love to sip on scotch. I love Speyside, I love Islay. It's really up to what pleases my palate, actually. I really struggle and I try to stay away of vodka cocktails, usually. I find them quite boring. I personally love Zuma, Koya, obviously, and Hendrix Bar. Internationally speaking, my top is the American bar at the Savoy. I really feel it really represents what true bartending is about. I also would like to mention Dr. Stravinsky in Barcelona, and maybe Paradiso, also in Barcelona. I try to base my cocktail philosophy on how I think that the ones who started this industry and the ones who were the fathers of bartending were thinking. First of all, we need to be creative in a way to find a bridge between us, the connoisseurs, the experts, and the consumers. I think we're going through a crisis where we for the past couple of years, tried to create drinks for bartenders and from the people who actually know what they're drinking, rather than trying to get people from outside to get closer to what we know. That's why my philosophy of bartending is trying to implement techniques, creativity, but still keep a very simple approach and offer really beverages or cocktails to my guests which are easy to perceive, easy to understand to anybody, yet offering a small glimpse, you know, a small wow factor. So I try to mostly do twists on classics, and I usually get a lot inspired from culinary dishes, which I find really intriguing and really challenging to implement in cocktails. The Curious Bartender from Tristan Stevenson, definitely. It's a must read. So when I go out, I prefer to stay simple, to be honest. I rarely ask for a cocktail. I rarely ask for an old-fashioned, a Negroni, maybe a whiskey sour, but I'm mostly on gin and tonics and tequila or mezcal. Ambition, I think, is the most important thing, and if you love what you do and you have the ambition, you can achieve anything. If you look at the global scene, if bartending is too trend-driven, then yes, I would like to say yes, but I wouldn't say it applies to every market. And I say that not necessarily every trend applies everywhere. So I think that we should be the ones that set the trend here rather than following others. We should be the ones that start a trend because we know our market and we know what our guests want, we know what our guests need. Not necessarily taking ideas from others and try to implement that here, because success in Asia doesn't necessarily guarantee you success in the Middle East. It's going to be 3-ingredient cocktails. To always push myself to the limit and always try to learn new things every single day, try to develop. Winning World Class for me was just unbelievable. It felt like all the hard work finally paid off. The 11 years, you know, all the help that I got from my team, from my former team members, it actually built up on my success. So I truly believe that it's a very proud moment for myself, and it was a huge opportunity to be in Mexico City on the global finals amongst the 55 best bartenders in the world. And the fact of sharing the same table at lunch with some of the people whose books I read 4 or 5 years ago, I would have never imagined that in my life. It's such a shame for the Dubai bar scene that World Class has stopped. We built up on the success for 7 years, 7 or 8 years, and I have to say that we managed to get positions which were pretty good, and we got the recognition that we achieved during these years. It just made absolutely no sense to cut everything and just take that away from the bartenders. I really feel that has a huge negative effect on the community, because it's a lack of motivation. It's a lack of motivation for businesses, it's a lack of motivation for us as professionals, because World Class is the global biggest exposure for the industry. It's healthy for the business if you participate on World Class. It's healthy for you, it pushes you to the limits, you can get more creative, you get to make excellent connections all around the world. The competition scene, I feel in Dubai it's quite healthy. There's still Bacardi Legacy, which is quite on a good level, Chivas Masters, and there's so many brands who do smaller and smaller competitions. I think it's a measure that has to be kept in order to encourage bartenders to be creative and to push themselves and, you know, always improve and build up on it, because it helps the scene. I think, as you mentioned, World Class and how they organize different boot camps or workshops where they really gather the community of bartenders from all around Europe or certain parts of Europe at a time, or Asia. I think it's a big minus for us not getting involved in this, because we miss out on a lot of information. And I really think that in World Class's case, they should really look into maybe gather us with the Asian market together and the North African market. You mentioned Lebanon, which has a very strong bar scene. So I don't see the reason why they shouldn't do that and give us the possibility to be part of that as well. If it's a competition, I would like it to be a fair competition for everybody and to have the same tools to work with. It is a limitation for us. It doesn't help anybody. I think there should be a lot more space in regards to our suppliers to add new products and to have a freedom in importing other products without having to pay massive fees to get them in our bars. Because if we look at other markets anywhere in the world, we are super limited to the variety of products that we have on hand, and we are super limited with the access that we have to those products in our day-to-day operations. So, hi guys, this is Barney. This is my bartender profile, and thanks for watching it. Don't forget to follow theliquidstate.co.uk on Facebook and Instagram, and please feel free to like, share, and comment. Share with us your opinions, any questions, any strong points of view that we have, and yeah, keep on being beautiful people.